Next up, at UFC Sacramento, we have the featured fight of the evening, which frankly I think should be the co-main event of the evening. We have Reinier de Ridder.
No, this is going to have to be boring.
But this is a more meaningful fight than the actual co-main
Yeah, but
event.
it's about entertainment.
The order is about importance, not excitement.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We have Reinier de Ridder taking on Roman Dolidze. RDR, 21-4 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is on an unfortunate 2-fight skid, and he is heading up to the light heavyweight division. He's taking on Roman Dolidze, 15-5 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's on a 2-fight skid, also heading into his light heavyweight debut. We have 2 former middleweights that are moving up in weight after a couple of losses, trying to reinvent their careers at a new weight class. And for one of them, makes some sense because RDR is freaking tremendous, and he's fought here before. He's a former 2-division champion at ONE FC. He's a solid grappler. He's got good takedowns. He will strike. He's got that giant jump knee up the middle. Everything he does looks like it's heavy. He's not like the most athletic guy in the world, but he can do all the things, and he's absolutely tremendous. He's 6'4". He's big as hell. This move up makes sense for him. He is coming off that loss to Kyle Barala, where he had the volume, but the takedown attempts were just not very good. He's taking on Roman Dolidze, a world champion grappler who has showcased those world champion grappling skills more than one time in the octagon. The problem is you don't know when he's actually going to grapple because he's perfectly content moving forward, just swinging hammers at people's heads. And he ends up getting hit quite a bit. And then he doesn't wrestle. And if he doesn't wrestle and he's swinging and he's getting dotted up, kind of runs out of options. And that's what happened in his last couple of losses. He is coming off that decision loss to Christian Leroy Duncan, where he actually did have the takedowns, but he just could not hang in the striking. And I am a big Roman Dolidze fan. I picked him many times before. I have done the Roman Dolidze inside the distance decision, no action bet probably 10 times in his UFC career. But I think this move to light heavyweight is dumb. I think it's dumb. Like, I get it. You've lost a couple times at middleweight. You're no longer a top 5 guy, maybe not even a top 10 guy. And I understand the light heavyweight division is weak, but so is the middleweight division. And the light heavyweight division has much bigger dudes. So Roman Dolidze moving up to fight much bigger guys, I don't think is the greatest decision in the world. He's not small, but he's not big either. And yes, he is technically fighting a middleweight. So it's basically 2 middleweights here that are not cutting. But RDR is still absolutely tremendous. And I think the size is going to matter here because Roman's going to come in, try to just one punch knock his way out through here. But we've seen RDR is pretty tough. I also think Roman's going to struggle with the range. I think RDR can, frankly, hang on the ground if he ends up getting takedowns. If he doesn't get takedowns, he's going to be throwing those big jump knees up the middle. I think RDR is moving up in weight to level up. His body wasn't doing what he wanted it to do, and I think he will reinvent his career, where I think Roman's moving up because he just doesn't want to cut weight anymore, and those are 2 very different reasons. RDR is the pick, fairly confident there. What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, Roman kind of struggled at 185 because he was just so slow in the striking. Like, he has really no defensive striking. I know the bet that we always used to play with Roman was inside the distance decision, no action, because he was just such a tough dude. And he was always live for weird, either a knockout or on the ground or whatever. But now at this point in his career, he can't even be that guy to be relied on because he saw that in the fucking fluffy fight or whatever. I actually went in that fight being like, yeah, he has a good opportunity to beat Fluffy. Like, he is a good grappler and stuff. And he showed early on he knew not how to defend the takedowns, but he learned, or he fucking went for all those fucking dumbass leg locks, so that was able to get him back to the feet. But then that roly-poly rolling around for leg locks, I wore him the fuck out. Like, he did like 3 or 4 times, and he was just gassed as shit, and he couldn't do anything the rest of the fight. Like, he was a guy that was just too slow at 185, and now at 205, I know the RDR is a former 185er, but he's going to carry the weight much better than Roman Dolidze. I just think he's better in the striking. I think he's a better grappler. I told you, I think Roman Dolidze at this point, he's going to be the new Paul Craig. Like, the grappling he's shown at this point is more just kind of just chasing leg locks. Like, he's not jumping to people's backs and throwing at a body triangle and fucking like threatening that. Like, he was in a situation against Fluffy to where Fluffy's probably the better wrestler, but Roman on paper should be the better like grappler. And he wasn't even like trying to counter grapple. It was just like leg lock bullshit, flipping, invert, and all that stuff. Like, he's just the 205 Paul Craig at this point, who I called the 205 fucking Ryan Hall. Paul Craig obviously was a little bit more of just like the triangles and stuff like that. But I think that RDR, at this point, bullies him, gets in a clinch position. They initiate a scramble. Roman tries this fucking leg lock bullshit, and RDR just fucking flows with it, because if you know anybody that about anything in the UFC, everyone says that RDR is probably like one of the best pure grapplers of like in the fucking UFC. So I just think he's probably just better everywhere at this point. I did find it interesting in your interview. I did listen to a lot of that interview when he said that he's never worn wrestling shoes in his life, because you asked him about
I was
RAF
shocked. I was shocked
so.
about that because he's been competing in grappling forever. I assumed he wrestled too, or at least trained wrestling, but I guess not.
So the setup was, you asked him, would he ever do the BJJ or RAF or whatever, and he just made a comment like, if I did RAF, it'd be the first time I ever wore wrestling shoes. And I was like, oh shit, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a pretty straightforward pick for me, but I think I am a little bit influenced from that interview. I interviewed RDR.
You fell in love
with Josh.
I get it, man.
He's cool. He's normal, and you can tell he's not stupid, because I think Josh brought up, oh, but Roman's a nasty grappler, whatever. And RDR was like, yeah, but when's the last time he used it? He doesn't use it anymore. So like, he's very aware of like how Roman's been fighting and what that all looks like. And a lot of people were immediately like, oh, he's a quitter. He's a quitter. Agreed. Jacob and I both called him a quitter. Jacob called him a quitter before he quit. With that being said, I watched him
he was smoking that fight. He was fucking... Brendan Allen's a really good grappler, and he was embarrassing Brendan Allen.
Well, and I believe him when he says his body gave up on him. But the only reason I believe him is because we watched him go to war with Robert Whittaker. Like that was a straight up war.
Yeah, what
he
was
got
that,
dropped.
the 4th fight in a year or something? Like,
yeah, he said I cut weight 4 times in a year, and he's fucking huge.
And he cuts like 35 pounds, I think. It's like something crazy.
So I actually believe that. I believed Ankh when after he got knocked out by Alex, he had all those excuses, and I believe RDR after the quit, if you will. Now the loss to Kyle was a clean loss. Similar situation. He's like, I'm just too freaking.
And that was fun. I came into that fight being like, yeah, Kyle's probably going to smoke this guy because he knows how to wrestle and grapple, and he's a way better striker. That fight was fucking a lot closer, and I think I can't remember what the scorecards were, but that fight was like pretty close. Like, it was like, holy shit. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. No, for sure. We're both on RDR side. We're both pretty confident in that. So if you want to check out all the bets we have, which we do have bets on this fight, go to WeWantPicks.com, click become a member at the top. It's only $10.
Second, third round sub for RDR could be interesting.
Has Roman been subbed? Are people subbing Roman?
Well, nobody's been subbed until they get subbed, Angelo. Do you want to play that game?
No, some people have never been subbed.
Right.
That logic doesn't work.
What do you mean? Nobody has ever been subbed until they get subbed.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I heard it wrong. I heard it like basically like everybody gets subbed eventually.